All right, so when we look at this one, it says Mr. Allen sells fruit trees to raise money for charity. He sells each fruit tree for the same amount. He also donates a fixed amount of money to charity in addition to his fruit tree sales. The equation below represents his sales and donation to charity each week. So remember, you got to look, y equal mx plus b. So what that tells you is he donated a fixed amount. So what he donated was right there. How much the trees cost is right there. So each tree is $45.75. Why? Because the number of trees you're going to sell is variable. So that's where the X comes in it. So right now, even though this 6526, okay, remember Y equal. So this is the Y. You could have said 6526 equal. Okay, but what they're trying to do is identify what this 88 means. X equal 88. They're giving it to you. So what that 88 means is this the number of trees sold. But that's not what they're asking. They're asking, what does this solution represent? Well, X means how much you're going to make if you sold 88 trees. Okay, we already know how much they cost, $45.75, so we know it's not A. Mr. Allen gave a total of 8,800 last week. No. Hello? Good evening. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, Mr. Tinsley, sorry about that. I think I lost signal.
Okay. So I was explaining, didn't even know you was going, so I just start over.
I apologize. I was like,
That's all
wait,
right.
Mr. Tinsley, why are you still stuck on the screen?
All right, so let's look at
Okay.
this one. It says Mr. Allen sells fruit trees to raise money for charity. He sells each fruit tree for the same amount. So he sells each fruit tree for the same amount. He donates a fixed amount. That means that amount is not going to change in addition to his fruit tree sales. The equation shown below represents his sales and donation to charity last week. Okay, so remember, some people think they have to give you a question in a certain way all the time. So what I did was, will you probably get something that's difficult? Probably not. But I want you to have every different type of question that you could get. So when you get to the GED, you won't feel pressured. You won't feel anxious. You'll be able to answer those questions fairly easy. So the first thing you know, if you need a linear equation, is y equal mx plus b, right? So mx plus b, but this is a little different. They set up a little different. We're going to put the y on this side. So the y is your total money that you collected. The 2,500 was the fixed amount.
And the 455.
This right here, the 475, the 4575 times x is variable, right? That means that x is going to be the number of trees you sold. And each tree costs 45.75. So what it's asking you something different. Usually, I don't give you everything. I don't give you every variable. I gave you everything in this question. But I want to know if you had a conceptual understanding of what that meant. So the solution to Mr. Allen's equation is x equal 88. Well, x is the number of trees. Right? So what does the solution represent? So what it means is if he sells 88 trees and he donated 2,500, the total he was going to collect in donations was 65.26. So basically, Mr. Allen sold each fruit tree for $88. We know that's not it because that's the number of trees he sold. Mr. Allen sold 88 fruit trees last week. Well, we know that's true. Mr. Allen gave a total of 8,800 to charity. No, that's not true. Mr. Allen's fixed amount that he gave to charity was $88. That's not true.
That's not true.
So even if you didn't know the answer, right, you could have used the multiple choice to get rid of A, C, and D.
Process of elimination.
Yep. So it's not, you know, so you remember, looking at those answers are very important. Okay. So now let me just repeat. I'm actually on vacation. It's my wedding anniversary week. But since I didn't remember if I told the group that I wasn't going to have GED Math Monday, so I'm here. So, but right at 7 o'clock, I'm out because I think we're supposed to be on a plane tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, going somewhere tomorrow. It's supposed to be a surprise, but I know I'm going somewhere. I don't know where it's yet.
I love it, love it, love it.
There we go. So
Be
any more questions on anything people have problems with? Because that's what's important sometimes. Because what happens is when you're going over a problem sometimes, and it take you, you know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes to figure out. If it's taking you that long, hold off, wait, send me an email, send me a text. If GED Math Monday is coming up, wait to it and then bring that question to class. You know, you don't want to spend 30 minutes trying to figure out a problem. Because remember, if you spend more than 3 minutes on a problem, I want you to flag it and skip it. So even if you had this problem and you had difficulty, remember what I told you. You spending more than 2-3 minutes on a problem, flag it for review, skip it. Okay. So what's some other problems Judy, Sharon, or Nina had this week? Anything else?
Mr. Tinsley, I had a problem, but I could not get it. And it was standard form with the linear equation, but I just didn't understand.
Tell me what it is.
2x plus y equal 8. I just didn't understand where the 0 come from.
Hold on, let me switch to my blank sheet. 2x plus y equal 8. First of all, it's not letting me out of here. Why is that? Okay, here we go. Go to my blank sheet. 2x plus y equal 8. Okay, so this is a linear equation. So what you're trying to do is either find the slope or the y-intercept. So it's two things you can do. Right now, this is in standard form. How do we know? Because ax plus by equals c. So you identify your a, b, and c. So your a is what?
So you got
2.
A is 2.
Your b is what?
Y.
1. Your c is what?
8.
8. So remember, I told you in order to find a slope, I gave you an easy way. Minus a over b. So if a is 2, what's minus a?
-2.
-2. What's b?
1.
1. What can minus 2 over 1 reduce to?
-1.
-1.
Negative what?
-2. I mean,
Negative
sorry,
2.
-2.
So the slope of this equation is -2.
Right.
If I want to find the y-intercept, it's c over b. What's c?
8.
C is 8.
8. What's b?
1.
1. What does 8 over 1 reduce to?
8.
8. So your y-intercept would be 8. The location it would be on the coordinate plane would be 0, 8. Now that's if you recognize that as standard form. Now I had someone do this problem yesterday, the same exact, a very similar problem. They said, Mr. Tinsley, well, I like to get y by itself. Okay, well you can. So in order to get y by itself, what do I need to get rid of?
The 2.
The 2 what?
X.
The 2x. What's the opposite of positive 2x?
You got -2x.
Minus 2x. So if I subtract 2x from both sides, the 2x's cancel. I get y equal. Now I'm going to reorder these. So I'm going to put my minus 2x first, and then 8 is plus 8. Now I can easily see that my slope is what?
-2x.
-2, and my y-intercept is what?
8.
It's
8.
8.
So there's no one way you have to do it. So if you notice, I did standard form first, and then I did slope intercept form with the same problem. It doesn't matter.
Where you get the 0 from? That's why I'm confused.
There is no 0. What
you got 0. I mean, when you doing the what you call that?
The y-intercept?
The x, y, the x and the y.
Well, it's not the x and the y. It's the y-intercept, right?
The y-intercept,
because what does the y? Okay, what does the y-intercept mean? Where it crosses the y-axis, right? So if my y-axis, if it's crossing at +8, right? What's my x? Zero.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Zero.
So that's what the definition of the y-intercept is. It's the point on your graph where x is 0. So anytime you see the y-intercept, for example, you're going to have
X is
0,
first.
8.
Yeah.
If I had a 1 here, again, I would have minus 2 plus 8 is 6. So my second point would be 1, 6. And that's would be my line right there. But my y-intercept, that's what the y-intercept is, where it crosses the y-axis. Well, when it crosses the y-axis, your x is 0. Got me?
Yes.
I'm very glad you asked that question, because a lot of teachers will say the y-intercept is 0,8. Well, that is true. The way I explain it to make it much easier for you is when you look at this, when you look at slope-intercept form, when I say my y-intercept is 8, well, guess what? Then I know where to place that point, because I know the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So where does it cross the y-axis? Right on the y-axis? At 8.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your first point right away. Got me?
0.8.
Got it.
Wonderful question. Wonderful question. I love it. I love it. I love questions like that, because that's where the conceptual understanding comes in. That's where you really start to identify, because a lot of people, when they're going over math, they remember how to do it. But then if they don't study it for a month or two, oh my God, I don't know. I don't remember how to do that. But see what I just said? I don't remember how to do that. If I asked you 2 plus 2, you're going to say 4. Why? Because you know how to do it. It doesn't matter if I ask you 40 years from now, because you know how to do it. So that's what you got to make sure. You got to make sure your conceptual understanding is high. Make sure you understand it and not just remembering how to do it. All right, what's another question? I love it. That was 2 wonderful questions tonight. I love it. What's some other questions here?
The linear equations, Mr. Tinsley, would be fractions.
What you mean, like y equal 1/2 x plus 3? So your slope is what?
1/2.
1/2. Your y-intercept is what?
3.
Doesn't matter. It does not matter if it's fractions, decimals. I don't care what it is. If you said y equal square root of 2 times x minus 5, what you recognize is whatever in front of that x is your slope.
Yep.
So even if I had a decimal right here, 0.52, my slope is 0.52. And that's what you got to remember. That's why I go to the depths of letting you know. That's why you should know this equation like the back of your hand. Y equal mx plus b. Whatever is in front of that x is your slope. But this is what people do. Remember that question Nina just gave us? 2x plus y equal 8, I think she said, right? What people say is, oh, the slope is 2. No, the slope is not 2. This is not slope-intercept form. This only works in slope-intercept form. This is standard form. So it's a different method in order to find the slope. So that's why it's important. That's why I put that new quiz on Schoology, where you got to identify, is this standard form? Is this slope-intercept form? Because that's what you should be doing first, identifying what that formula is. Because listen, I'm giving you 2, right? But listen, y minus 8 equal 3x plus 2. That's called point slope form. I didn't even go over that with you. They're different forms. Then you got y equal x plus 6 plus 3x plus 14. Or I could have minus 3x plus y equal 14. Every one of these equations, every single one of these equations are the same. They're in different forms. So the reason why I don't go over the first one is because you really don't see that on the GED. That's called point slope. So if you look on your formula sheet, you'll see that form. It says y minus y1 equal m times x minus x1 or something, whatever it says. That's your point slope form. I don't even go over that. What I would say to you is, I'd be able to identify that the slope is 3, the y-intercept is 14. Here, the slope is plus 3 over 1, which is 3. The y-intercept is 14 over 1, which is 14. Okay, Mr. Tizzy, but what if I get something like that? I want to be, you said be prepared for everything. Well, you still should be prepared. You should still know how to solve this equation for y. So what you should say is, okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right? So I need to do multiplication first. So I know the 3 outside my parentheses is multiplication first. So y minus 8 equal 3x plus 6. Y is still not by itself. I need to add 8 to both sides. Y equal 3x plus 14. My slope is 3. My y-intercept is 14. That's one way you could have did it. That's solving for y. You should be able to do that. So don't get flustered if you see that, because you should know the algebra behind it. Or you could have went like this. Watch this. I'm going to show you a more simpler way to find the slope. If they only asking you for the slope, if you have a conceptual understanding of this problem, what you're going to say is this minus 8 is a constant. That's not going to change the slope. All I need to see is that 3x. I know what's in front of the x is my slope. Boom, my slope is 3.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Again, so those are the things you got to prepare. Don't get scared for this exam. When you're taking this GED math exam, I need you to understand this is very important. Even though I'm asking you to get 60, 70, 80 on my Schoology exams, you only need a 55 to 58 on the GED. The reason why I'm pushing to get a 60, 70, and 80 is so when you get to your GED exam, you're not flustered. And you're so used to doing these problems that the test you won't have that anxiousness. You won't have that frustration. You'll know this is more than 2 minutes. Let me flag for review and skip. This is why I do it. So guess what? I had a person on here that scored, the person took the practice test. They got 51, 54, 48, 57. I said, listen, I think you should spend one more week. This person said, listen, I can't. I got to take this. If I don't get it by this week, I don't have a job. I got to take it. This person passed.
Wow.
Because the problems that I'm preparing for me, and guess what? He didn't pass with like a 145. He passed with a 158.
Wow.
Because in Schoology, I'm preparing you for the types of questions you're going to see on a lot of these different websites, and they're going over a whole lot of math you will not see. And I'm like, wow. Now, if you're going to college, you're going to secondary, post-secondary school, yes, you need to know all those things. But right now, listen, my objective is to help you pass that math exam. Okay, so if you getting consistently a 60 on my Schoology exams, do a one-on-one with me. You can go take your exam.
In progress.
You can take your one-on-one and go take and pass your exam. Okay. So what's some more questions you have? So that's good. So we got some good questions out the way tonight. What's some other questions that you may have that I can answer? Anything? Okay. Boom. Let's do this. I saw a bunch of people having problems with factoring a quadratic equation. They didn't know the difference between factoring and solving. So what happened was when they were factoring it correctly, but then giving the wrong answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor a quadratic equation. Once I factor it, I'm going to solve it. So it's very important that you understand what they're asking when you execute that problem. Do they want you to factor it? Do they want you to solve it? So in this case, let's look at this one here. This number 1, it says factor. But what I'm going to do for our purposes, I'm going to factor it, and then I'm going to solve it. And then I'm going to use the calculator to help you. So watch this. So first of all, what you should know is a standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus z plus c equals 0. So my a is going to be what? For number 1.
1 squared.
1. Now 1 squared, because see the a, the b, are coefficients to the variable. They don't include the variable. So here your a is 1. because there's no number there, so it's 1. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
My B is what?
-7.
-7. My C is what?
18.
My C is what?
18.
My
Negative
C-
18.
Negative 18. So again, 18 and negative 18 are 2 different things. So we are so first we got to know that the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The second thing you got to be able to do, identify a, b, and c. When a is 1, if a is 1,
Mm-hmm.
so if you have x squared, p squared, m squared, not 2x squared, not 5x squared, a is not 1. When a is 1, I want you to find the factor pairs of -18. Factor pairs. So listen to what I said. Factor pairs. A factor is a number that goes into it evenly. A pair means 2. So what 2 numbers can I multiply together to get -18? I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to go from the lowest number. 1 times what will give me -18?
-18.
-18. And then I'm just going to go in order. 2 times,
2, -9,
3 times,
3 times -6.
4 cannot go into 18. 5 cannot
No.
go into 18. Now I'm at 6. Already used 6, so I know I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, well, what you mean you already used 6? No, I only see -6. I don't see +6. I see -6. What you have to understand is on this other side, we're going to reverse those numbers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so instead of 1 and -18, I'm going to have what?
You're gonna have -1. Oh, yes, 18.
And
then
then
you're gonna
instead of
have -2 and 9. And then you're gonna
finally,
have 3 and -6.
so
I
now
mean,
these are
3,
all
-3 and
my
6.
factor pairs. These are all the pairs that you multiply together that will give you -18. My next step is to, once I have my factor pairs, what factor pair will give me -7? If I combine those 2 numbers together, what factor pair is going to give me -7?
2 and -9.
2 and
And
-9.
-9. Yep.
Once you have that, those are your solutions right there, almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
You
Why?
got 2.
Because 2 and -9. So
Right.
x plus 2,
Right.
x minus 9.
-9.
This is your quadratic equation factored. To solve this quadratic equation, you got to find the zeros. Because remember, so let me explain it to you. Remember, I told you the standard form of a quadratic equation must equal 0.
Yes.
So what's anything times 0?
0.
0. So the opposite of +2 is what?
It's
-2.
-2.
So your solutions that solve this quadratic equation are -2, and what's the opposite of -9?
+9.
+9. Those are your 2 solutions. So you cannot get them confused. The factored is x plus 2 times x minus 9. The solution of this quadratic equation is -2 and +9.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
okay, Mr. Tinsley, that's factored, right? Well, let me prove it to you, because the second thing I want to show you is how you're going to use this calculator to defeat all of this. You don't even have to take all that time. Let me show you right now. So we already know the answer, but let me make multiple choice up. Now even though this worksheet says factor, right? We're solving, right? So I'm gonna make up. So we know the answer is -2 and 9. So I'm gonna make up some multiple choice. So I'm gonna say 2 and 9. I'm gonna say B is -2 minus 9. I'm gonna say C is +2 minus 9. And my D, and the only reason I made it D because we already know the answer. -2 and 9, right? So now you could do all this work right here. You could solve this algebraic. You could waste 2 to 3 minutes. You can pull your hair out. You could do all those things. But if they give you the multiple choice, what is going on? Why won't this? Oh, because I got to cancel this. Hold on for 1 second. What is going on here? What is going on here? I want my calculator. Oh, my goodness. Y'all have to be patient with me. I got to open my calculator up. I thought I had my calculator open, but watch this. So instead of saying, okay, A is 1, B is -7, C is -18, find the factor pairs of -18, and then it's what B's going. Listen, if they give you the multiple choice, since you've been here, you should be laughing all the way to the bank. Why? Because for the last 30 days, you should have been preparing and using that ebook and using this calculator. Because watch this. Watch what I'm about to show you. Let me clear this calculator so we can see it. Let me see if I can make it bigger. How big I can make it. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay, I can only make it so big. But watch this. Okay, remember, quadratic equation must be equal to 0. If you don't see an equal sign there and some other number, assume it's equal to 0. So any answer you put in there to solve it must be equal to 0. So watch this. 2 store x. Enter. Because my first solution is 2. Right? So I'm going to plug it in. X squared minus 7x minus 18. Oops, minus 18. I'm sorry. Did I get 0?
Nope.
No.
So I know it's not A. I'm going to go to B. I got -2. -2 store x. And you practice this. You do it over and over until you got it. X squared. It's not just saying, oh, I understand it with Mr. Tinsley going on. No, you take your calculator out and you do it. Did I get 0?
Yep.
So
Yes.
I know -2 is an answer.
Because
I know it's not A. I know -2 is an answer. So right now, I know it can't be C because -2 is not in C. So I need to know it's B or C because one of my solutions is -2. This is the second thing you must remember. A quadratic equation can have up to 2 solutions. It may only have 1, but it can have up to 2.
Yeah.
So I got to try my second one, -9. So I'm going to take -9 and I'm going to plug it in. -9, store x, and I'm going to plug it in. X squared minus 7x minus 18. Did I get 0?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No, I did not. It is not B. I know my answer is what?
It's A, B, D.
Did that take us 3 minutes? Did that take us 4 minutes? That took us less than a minute. If you know how to store a variable and plug it in. So that's one of the advantages you have because I'm letting you know if it's multiple choice and your answers are in the multiple choice, you can plug it into any form. It doesn't have to be just quadratic equation. It could be any equation. It could be a volume. It could be a perimeter. It doesn't matter. You can plug the answers in. So practice. So what you're going to do when you're in school is just solve it computationally. Then say, okay, Mr. Tinsley said, I'm giving these multiple choice. Let me see what would I do to plug it. You want to do it both ways. You want to be so prepared. When you take this test, no matter what they give you, you're going to know when to flag. You're going to know when to skip. You're going to want to use the calculator. You're going to want not to use the calculator. You're going to know when you get a problem. You know what? I have problems with that. Let me skip that right now. Well, you know what? I don't really know how to do this, but I have all the multiple choice here. Let me plug these multiple choice in and see what I get. And this is why practice takes purpose. And this is why I said you just need to spend an hour a day. So whatever you're working on, you work on it till you got it. You don't move on, you move, then you move on once you got it. Once you got 75, 80, then you should be moving on. But let me clear the screen and let me maximize this calculator. Yes.
I want to ask you something.
Yes.
Did this factoring? I never understood. Can I ask you something? So when you did the from 1 to 18, why was on the negative side you got 18 negative, -9 and -6, but when you get to the positive side, it was -1, -2, and -3. I never understood that.
Well, guess what? You're going to understand it tonight. I was Kevin Hart said, you going to learn today. This is why, because remember what I told you. The factor pairs must equal -18. So when you remember a positive and a negative make a negative. So -1 times 18 gives you -18. So matter of fact, let me prove it to you. Just in case you're not 100% sure. Let me prove it. And this is why having the calculator right next to you every time you're working with something is very important. Boom. I'm going to put it right next to the problem. Watch this. -1 times 18. What did I get? -18. -2 times 9. What did I get? minus 18. Minus 3 times 6. What did I
Equal to
get?
negative-
Minus
negative
18.
18.
I'm going to go on the other side. 1
Mhm.
times negative 18. What did I get? Negative
Negative
18.
18.
2 times negative 9. So what you should realize too, as you practice putting these in, you should realize I'm not
7.
using a negative sign, the subtraction sign. I'm using a negative sign next to enter. Because what did I tell you? If your expression starts with a negative or your negative is in parentheses, you must use the negative next to enter. That
Mhm.
becomes practice, because if you don't, if you do 3 times minus 6, that looks like 3 times minus 6. What happens when I press enter?
Error.
Because you must use the negative sign there, enter, for that calculation to be done. Only way you'll realize that is if you used to plugging these numbers in.
Mhm.
Got me? That answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Y'all got some good questions tonight. I'm supposed to be on my vacation. Woo, good questions tonight. I love it. But watch this. So I had somebody who's studying for the high set, and they had a question like this. Number 6. Like, Mr. Tinsley, is that a quadratic equation? Yes, it is. That's a quadratic equation. Mr. Tinsley, how do you do that? How do you factor something like that? Very easy. Now, but this worksheet is not asking to solve the quadratic equation. But if it did, remember, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. My a is 7. My b is 9. My c is 0.
0. Okay.
Okay? So that's how you would then identify your a, b, and c. Now, but this is only asking you to factor. So that's all we're going to do is factor. So we look at the 7 and we look at the 9. There's no number that can go in the 7 to 9. So I can't pull anything out. If I look at the x squared, k squared, and the k, I can pull out a k. So I can pull out a k, and then you're doing 7k squared divided by k. Remember, exponent rules, you're subtracting exponents with the same base, 2 minus 1. This is 7k.
Yeah.
You got 7k plus 9. That's how you would factor that expression right there.
Yeah.
So now let's check it. K times 7k is 7k squared.
Mhm.
K times 9 is
It's
9k.
9K.
So remember, the last part of math is always checking your work. Once you have an answer, plug it back in to see if it works. Especially since you know how to store in your calculator now. You plug it right in, plug it. And this time, it's not an equation, it's an expression. But that checking is the last part of math. It's so important. Checking your work because you're going backwards. Got me?
Mhm.
Now, let's look at this problem right here. Now, I don't really know what this problem is going to come out to, but watch this. Let me see. They're telling you to factor this question, this problem right here. What? Mr. Tinsley, I don't even know how to do a problem like that. What I would say is this. This is what I'm gonna show you. This is what I'm gonna show you. Let me see. Let me see the answer first. Let me get the answer. Let me get the answer. Right? And of course, I made the answer the 1D because we already know the answer. So you might be saying, Mr. Tinsley, how would I even do that problem? If you're going to get a problem like number 8, but the difference is they're going to give you the multiple choice.
So
instead of you factoring it and trying to find out what AC is and doing all this multiplication, you got to learn how to multiply binomials. If you know how to multiply binomials, you use the multiple choice to work backwards. So the first thing you're going to look at, plus 21. That means your last 2 terms must either both be negative or both be positive. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Why? Because minus 3 times 7 is minus 21. Minus 3 times minus 7 is a positive 21. 3 times 7 is 21. So what I'm showing you now is a process of elimination. So you're looking at this problem and you see the last term is a plus 21. So the last two terms must give you positive 21. Minus 3 times 7, that's negative 21. It can't be A.
It could be
Minus 3 minus 7 is positive 21. It could be B. Plus 3 times minus 7 is minus 21. It can't be C. So even if you don't know how to do this problem, you now have a 50-50 chance to get this right. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
So now, I eliminated A. I eliminated C. Now, I'm going to multiply binomials. Okay? So what I'm going to do is 2B times B
is 2B squared.
2B squared. 2B times minus 7 is what?
Is a negative, what is it? Negative 14.
Well, right
Negative
away,
14B.
what term do I need in the middle?
You need plus
17.
17.
So I already know it can't be this one, but I'm going to do the whole problem.
Yep.
Minus 3 times B.
It's negative 3B.
And then minus 3 times minus 7.
It's plus
Negative
21.
21.
21. Now, we have to combine like terms.
Yeah.
What's minus 14B and minus 3B?
That's 18, no, 17. Negative 17.
Negative
Negative
17.
17. So right away, if you're used to multiplying binomials, when I got that minus 14B, I already knew it wasn't B.
That's not the answer, right?
But if you know how to multiply binomials, you don't even have to solve all that algebraically. You work backwards and do
The problem.
2B times B is 2B squared.
Where?
2B times 7 is plus 14B. 3 times B is plus 3B. Plus 3 times 7 is positive 21. Got like terms, 2B squared plus 17B plus 21. Ding, 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 ding. Now, watch this. This problem is a doozy. This problem will take you 5 to 10 minutes. This is why I'm telling you, when you get the multiple choice, know how to multiply binomials because you're going to see a problem like this. I don't even know if I want to show you how to do this problem because it's going to absolutely take forever. Remember, A is 2, B is 17, C is 21. Well, A is not 1. So when A is not 1, you got to find a factor pairs of A times C, which is 42. So that's 1 times 42, 2 times 20, 3 times 14. 4 doesn't go into 42. 5 doesn't go 6. 6 times 7.
Yeah.
Right? Then we're going to reverse it. Then we got minus 1. But guess what? This is what you should see. If you start doing these problems like this, what you'll notice, minus 1, minus 42. But you know that you're going to have to combine them. You already know that you're going to combine them. So you're looking for positive 17. Well, 2 negatives can't give you positive 17. So it's no reason to even look at the right side. So
it's on the other side.
3 and 14. So then, this is how you do this problem algebraic. And it's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes. This is why I'm going to show you how difficult this problem is. So you understand that you need to make sure you know how to multiply binomial. So you're going to take this 3 and 14 and you're going to substitute them there. So you're going to say 2B squared plus 14B plus 3B plus 21. So instead of having 17B, I broke it down into 2 terms because I'm a factor by grouping. I'm going to group these together. So I'm going to group this one here and I'm going to group this one here. So if you look here, if I look at 2 and 14, I can take a 2 out. If I look at the B squared and the B, I can take a B out. So what do I have left? I have B plus 7. Here, I can take a 3 out, and I got B plus 7. So what you should notice now is they share a factor of B plus 7. So now I can combine these 2 outside terms together. So 2B plus 3 times B plus 7. Listen, I'm telling you now, I have problems with this, right? Because look how long it took me. It's easier to multiply binomials. Okay, so I'm gonna make this even more difficult. Well, Mr. Tinsley, what if they said solve it? What if I got something crazy like this? I know that the opposite of +7 is -7.
It's
I could do
minus.
that. That's easy. But what if I get 2b plus 3? You're going to do the same exact thing. The opposite of +3 is -3, and then you put it over the coefficient 2. So your two answers are -3/2 and -7. Okay. So you will need that for your GED. You will need that for your TEAS test. You will need that for your AccuPlacer. You will need that for your ASVAB. So if any of those sound familiar to you, that means you're looking for more than the GED. And you would need to learn how to find the zeros if it's not a whole number. You still take the opposite of that number, but put it over the coefficient of your variable. Are you sure, Mr. Tinsley? Are you sure that's the answer? Well, how can we be sure? What can we do?
Put it back in, replace them.
Put it back into the, now put it back in and replace it. But listen, I'm not wasting my time doing this by hand. I'm not putting no -3/2 in. You know how long it would take me to put -3/2 in to that equation? It would take me literally all day. And it would give me a headache.
Yeah.
And everybody in my house would be mad at me. Watch this.
Yeah.
-3/2. Store X. Mr. Tinsley, you can store fractions. You can store, yes. You can store decimals. You can store square roots. You can store any, once you know how to store something in this calculator, all you got to do is practice. Now, watch this. I'm going to plug it in. 2x squared. Mr. Tinsley, that says 2b squared. Why are you putting 2x squared? Does the variable matter?
No.
No. So 2x squared plus 17x plus 21. What do I, if -3/2 solve this, what do I expect to get? What number?
Plus 17.
What number do I, if -3/2 solve this equation, when I press enter, what number should I expect to get?
0.
0.
0.
0. AX squared plus BX plus C equals 0. Watch this.
I got
Bang.
0.
Did I get 0?
I got 0 too.
Now, the other one is -7. -7 store X. Boom.
Okay.
2x squared plus 17x plus 21. Did I get 0?
Yes.
Listen, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If they give you the multiple choice, plug up, especially to solve a quadratic equation, plug them in. I'm telling you, it's going to save you a whole lot of time. And I don't care. Telling you. Now, I also can tell you that you could say 2 store A, 17 store B, and 21 store C. Right? And then if you went through the eBook, right, I'll show you how to do -b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Oops, 4ac. All over 2a.
That's the formula.
That's the quadratic formula. So what I'm showing you is, yes, you could plug them in, but say they give you a most difficult quadratic equation. Well, if you know how to store variables A, B, and C, you can plug this formula right into your, look at that, -3/2, I'm done. Look at that, I'm done. Now, I go back up in here, I change that plus sign to a minus sign. Watch this. Bam, ain't that the two answers I just got?
Yes.
Listen, I'm telling you, I can't tell you enough. I'm telling you, even though you may know certain things, go through this ebook, learn how to use this calculator, because the most difficult problems you'll be able to do in less than a minute. It'll save you so much time that for those difficult problems, you'll have an extra 20 to 30 minutes to think about it. I'm telling you, take that time, I'm telling you. Now, do you have to go over every lesson? That's up to you. Because I don't know your schedule. But what I would do is take my practice test and say, you know what, linear equations, I'm going to make sure I know how to use this calculator linear equation. I'm gonna make sure I know how to use this calculator on quadratic formula and quadratic equation. I'm gonna make sure I know how to evaluate an algebraic expression and evaluate a function.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that's 7 to 10, another 3, and another 2. That's 12 different, just from those 3 sections. If you learn how to do those 3 sections in the ebook, hold on, Mr. Tinsley, I got a 141. I got a 142. Yes. You would then go take your test and pass. Yes. Okay, so it's 6:46. You know, I can't make my wife mad. So with some other problems that we have in that you need to learn how to do. Oh, let me see if I can find one with these exponents. That's right. Let me see if I can find one. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, no, these are too easy. These are too easy. Oh, no, we could do number 10. These are kind of too easy, but we'll do them. Exponent rules tell you I'm dividing exponents with the same base. I need to do what?
Subtract.
Subtract. What's 3 minus 5?
3 minus 5 is 2, negative 2.
Negative 2. So that would be 7n to the minus 2. But the second rule says if I have a negative exponent, I change the positive and change the orientation. So if it's on the top, I put it on the bottom. So this is actually the answer, right? But you won't see a negative exponent. So what you have to do, this is the same as 7 over 2n squared.
Yeah.
Okay. And just to prove it to you, let's go to number 10. See that? 7 over 2n squared.
You changed it. Yeah.
You must know your exponent rules. Now, your exponent rules are very important in every math you're going to ever take for the rest of your life. So if you're going to a post-secondary school, you're going to college, you're doing anything else with math, got to know your exponent rules. Those are very, very important. Okay, so make sure you practice. Make sure you do square roots, cube roots. Make sure you do the lesson on exponents. Because why? Even in that area, on the first 5, you're going to get a square root, cube root. For Pythagorean theorem, you need to know your square roots. That's 2 or 3 right there. And then your exponent. That's 3 right there. Okay? So make sure you know your exponent rules. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Cool.
Okay. If you don't have questions, I'ma have some questions. Let's do find the equation of the line for number 3. How would I do that? Anybody know? How would I find the equation of this line for number 3?
First, you need to identify if it's going to be a negative or a positive slope.
Okay, is it
You gotta
positive or
look
negative?
for that.
It's going to be negative.
Why is it negative?
Because it's going
It's
down.
going down.
Because from left to right, it is going down.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we got a negative slope. What's the next thing we're going to identify?
Pick 2 points or whatever they're giving you.
Well, they got 2 points already, but what's the next thing I should identify?
Linear slope.
Rise over run.
You could, but the easiest thing to identify is the y-intercept. Where does
Yes,
this
sir.
line cross the y-axis?
It's 5.
5.
It's 5.
You know that because you visualize it. You can see that this line crosses at +5 on the y-axis. So right away, I know what my y-intercept is. Now, if it didn't, then you would use your 2 points. And I'll show you that in a minute.
Right.
Watch this. So our y-intercept is 5. Now I'm going to use this point right here. And which way am I going for rise over run? Which way am I
You're going down.
We're going down. Count with me.
Yeah. Count.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Went down. How many?
8, I believe. Let me see. 1, 2, 3,
I guess
4, 5. Is it 8?
7.
7.
7.
Because I went down 7, is that positive or negative 7?
That's
Negative.
negative.
Negative 7. And I have to find my run. What direction am I going now?
You're going over.
Right.
Which way?
You're
To
going
your
right.
right. To your-
Count with me.
5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay. So my slope of this line is what?
is -7
Over
5.
5.
-7/5. So what's my equation of this line?
Y
Y
equals,
equals -7/5 plus 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
you forgot
wait a
something.
minute,
-7/5
X.
x
we forgot the X.
plus 5.
Oh,
Cannot forget that
5.
x. That's the equation of that line. Got to be able to do that. Now, what
Yeah.
they're going to do is they're going to give you 4 graphs, and you got to identify that graph. Well, what happens if you can't tell what the y-intercept is? What happens if you can't tell what, see, for example, this line crosses the y-axis here. What is that? I don't
It's
know
not a
what that is.
line.
I
It's
don't,
not.
is that 2.8? Is it 2.75?
It has to be a whole number.
So this is why they're asking just for the what?
So
Slope. But guess what? If I wanted to figure out the y-intercept, I could. Watch this. I'm going to show you.
you're gonna go.
So, because most people think, oh, it's not crossing the y-axis as a whole number. I can't
But you
do it.
could-
Yes, you can.
You
1,
gotta go
2,
to the
3,
front
4, 5, 6.
and
Negative
go-
6. 1,
and go
2, 3,
over.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my
Yeah.
slope
It's -6
is negative
8.
6/8. I'm going to reduce that -3/4.
Yeah.
Right? Once I know my slope, I got to use one of these points. So this point is -3, 5. Oh, I hate this problem already. This one right here is 5, comma, -1. Oh, I hate this problem. Now I see why they didn't tell you to find the equation. Watch this. Y equal mx plus b. My y is 5. My slope is -3. My x is 5. Oops. -3, I'm sorry. Plus b. So I get 5 equal 9/4. Because a -3 times a -3 is a positive 9/4
Then over
plus
4.
b. I got to subtract -9/4. But
Oh,
guess
no.
what? I don't feel like doing that. Again, you should know by now how to put fractions in your calculator. You should know. If you don't know, I don't know what to say. That means you ain't in that ebook. 5 minus 9/4. Don't waste your time trying to find a common denominator and all that mess. Let the calculator do it for you. So you get 11/4 equal b. So my equation of the line will be y equal -3/4 x plus 11/4. Okay, Mr. Tinsley, but what if they didn't have that as the multiple choice? They got standard form. What you notice is, see the common denominator 4? I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. So I get 4y equal -3x plus 11. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And I get 3x plus 4y equal 11. That's standard form. But again, it doesn't matter. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. Hold on. That's a lot of work. I'm going to get something wrong. Okay, you might. That's why I tell you, you should learn how to find the equation of a line using your calculator. You should be in that ebook and you should know data. And I got to put both my x's in. So I got -3 and 5. -3 enter, 5 enter. My first point is 5 and -1. 5 and -1. Second, data, 2 variable calculator. You tell, hold on, don't tell me you finished that quick. Watch this. Look at that. Look what I'm showing you right now. Watch this. Watch this. This is my slope and my y-intercept. That's my slope. That's my y-intercept. Watch this.
Yeah.
Y equal -0.75. Oops, not y equal. I'm sorry. Hold on. M equal -0.75. My B equal 2.75. Hold on, Mr. Tinsley. I don't see that as the answer, but you know how to use your calculator because Mr. Tinsley told you take that 30 days and make sure you know how to use your calculator. -0.75, and I'm going to change that to a fraction.
3/4.
-3/4. 2.75 and I'm gonna change that to a
That's that
fraction.
Over 4.
Wow,
11
look at
over
that.
4.
Yeah.
Y equal negative 3/4 x plus 11 over 4. Look at that. Not even a minute. Not even a minute. You got to put pressure on yourself to study at least an hour a day. I'm telling you, you do that for 30 days, understand this ebook. And if you bought the ebook, I'm going to give you a one-on-one with me. So we're going to go over specifically what you may not understand right before you take your exam. You're going to go take your exam, you're going to pass, and you're going to be happy.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Any questions before we leave tonight? It's almost 7. I'm sorry. Got to get out of here. It's my wedding anniversary.
You go ahead and happy anniversary.
Oh, happy
Mr.
anniversary.
President.
Thank you.
8
Mr.
years.
President.
8 years.
See you
Amen.
later.
Wow.
God bless you.
Mr.
Happy
President.
anniversary.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Everybody have a
You
good night.
gonna upload this before you catch that plane?
Yes, yes, yes.
On a
All
safe
right.
flight, yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. President.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.